Hello children, how are you all? Hope you are fine and good. I am your teacher Dakshayani from Bharathidhasanar Matric Higher Secondary School, Arakkonam. Children, today we are going to see 11th standard Zoology chapter 3. What is the name of the chapter, children? Tissue level of organization. Children, in the previous session we have discussed about the types of tissues. So first we studied what is a tissues, group of cells which are similar in function constitute a tissues, and there are 4 types of tissues. In the first one we studied about the epithelial tissues. First one is the epithelial tissues. Next one is a muscular tissue. Next one is a connective tissue. And finally the neural tissue. Finally neural tissue. And next we discussed what are all the types of epithelial tissues. There are 2 types. First one is simple and the second one is a compound. And we discussed what are all the types of simple epithelial tissues such as squamous epithelium, columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, ciliated epithelium and pseudo-stratified epithelium. And now in this session we are going to study about the glandular epithelium and what do you mean by compound epithelium. So what do you mean by glandular epithelium? When you call a glands, when you call an organ as a gland, children, yes, if it secretes some fluids, right. So some of the columnar cells, just imagine this is a columnar cells. This is a columnar epithelium. Columnar epithelium. So some columnar cells or the cuboidal cells, they perform the additional function of secretion. Such type of cells, epithelium, we say it as a glandular epithelium. So glandular epithelium may be divided into 2 categories. First one is a unicellular. What is the first one, children? Unicellular. Right, this is a unicellular glandular organ, and then you can see what is present in a single cell. In one single cell gland is present. So it is said to be unicellular glandular epithelium. But another one is a multicellular. Multicellular glandular epithelium, that is there are multiple number of cells. Glandular epithelium. So now let us see the examples of the unicellular gland. Unicellular glandular epithelium is seen in our alimentary canal. Alimentary canal means what, children? Our digestive tract. So unicellular is seen in alimentary canal. And multicellular, right? Multicellular glandular epithelium is seen in the salivary glands. Salivary glands. So first the glandular epithelium is divided into 2 based on the number of cells, that is unicellular and multicellular. And next we are going to study about the another type of glandular tissue based on their secretions, right. For example, there are 2 types of glands in our body, children. One is exocrine and another one is a endocrine. For example, exocrine. Exocrine gland, the best example is a what? Our salivary glands. All the exocrine glands, they possess the duct. For example, if this is a exocrine gland and the secretions of this gland are collected by the fluid. For example, the salivary gland secretes saliva and it is collected by the salivary duct. So the exocrine glands possess the ducts. In Contrast to it, the endocrine glands do not possess, the endocrine glands do not have the ducts. Hence, we can call them as ductless glands. What we can call, children? Ductless glands. For example, they are surrounded by the blood capillaries. Just imagine there are many endocrine glands in our body: pituitary, thyroid, thymus, adrenal, ovary and testes. They do not have the ducts, and the hormone secretions of this are directly poured into the blood. So, what is the main difference? Exocrine means they possess ducts. Here there is no ducts. And what is the secretion of endocrine glands called, children? Hormones. They are directly poured into the blood circulation. And now let us see different types of exocrine. First one, you can see the exocrine is divisible into simple and compound. And based on their secretions, they are divided as tubular. If the secretory tube is in tube shaped, it is said to be tubular. Alveolar, sometimes tubulo-alveolar. So, let us see what are all the types of exocrine glands. So, now let us write the classification, children. So, what is the first one? Glandular epithelium is divided into two. What are the two? Endocrine and exocrine. Endocrine and exocrine. Exocrine is again divided into two. One is unicellular and multicellular. Again, the multicellular is divided into three categories. First one is that based on structure. Based on structure. And another category is based on secretory units. Based on secretory units. And the another category, it is based on mode of secretion. Mode of secretion, based on secretion mode. So, now we are going to see what are all the classification. Based on structures, they are divided into simple and compound. Based on structure, simple and compound. And based on their secretory units, they are classified as tubular, alveolar and tubulo-alveolar. Tubulo-alveolar. And again, based on their mode of secretions, they are divided into apocrine, merocrine and holocrine. So, first one we are going to see based on their structure. If it is simple, for example columnar, they are all very simple. So, we say them as simple and compound. Next one is based on their secretory units. Some of the exocrine glands excrete their secretions and it is carried out by the tube-like structures. It is said to be tubular, alveoli, ball-like structures, alveolar, and another one is a tubulo-alveolar. For example, tubular means like this. Alveolar means like this. For example, tubulo-alveolar means like this. Right, children? And next one is based on their mode of secretion, apocrine. Apocrine glands are present in our armpits and the groin region. They possess the scent glands. So, we get the odor when it sweats in the armpits. Next one is a merocrine gland. Merocrine gland are the sweat glands which is distributed throughout our body and holocrine glands. Holocrine glands are sebaceous gland. The holocrine glands burst out to secrete their fluid. So, these are all the classifications of the glandular epithelium. So, now we are going to see about the compound epithelium. This is the image of the compound epithelium, children. Compound epithelium is nothing other than the multi-layered. If the cells are multi-layered, that is located one above the other. For example, in a simple epithelium we have studied, there will be the single row of cells, either it may be a squamous, columnar or cuboidal. There is only a single layer of cells. In contrast to it, the compound epithelium is made up of many layers, right? So, such type of cells we say it as a compound epithelium. And this compound epithelium we can say where it is found. Again, it is divided into many categories. First one is protection. What is the main? Protection. And this compound epithelium is present in the dry surface of the skin. It is present in the dry surface of skin, that is the outermost surface, as well as the lining of internal, for example in the buccal cavity, esophagus. So, they are all found both in the dry surface as well as in the wet surface. Now, we shall see the classifications of the compound epithelium. Compound epithelium is first divided into two major categories. One is a stratified, and the another one is a transitional. Right, transitional. Again, this stratified epithelium is divided into stratified squamous epithelium, stratified squamous epithelium, stratified cuboidal epithelium, and then stratified columnar epithelium. So, what are the classifications of compound epithelium, children? Stratified squamous, stratified cuboidal, stratified columnar and transitional. And the first type we are going to see is the stratified squamous epithelium. Stratified squamous epithelium is divided into two categories. One is keratinized, and another one is non-keratinized. For example, keratinized is found in covering our skin. For example, it is found in the dry surfaces. It is found only on the dry surfaces. But non-keratinized you can see in almost the wet regions of our body. For example, conjunctiva of the eye, and also the esophagus. So, the only main difference between the keratinized and the non-keratinized is that keratinized is found in the dry surface and non-keratinized is found in the wet surfaces. And next we are going to study about the stratified cuboidal epithelium. That is a cubical cells, the cells which are cube shaped or arranged one above the other. So, this multi-layered appearance we say it as a stratified cuboidal epithelium. And where do this stratified cuboidal epithelium is present in our body? It is present in the sweat glands. As well as in the mammary glands. Mammary glands. So, stratified cuboidal epithelium. Next one is a stratified columnar epithelium. Stratified columnar means the cells are columned like this. The basal cells is there and the cells are like this, and again it is multi-layered. So, such type of arrangements we say it as a stratified columnar epithelium, and stratified columnar epithelium is found only in the limited locations of our body. For example, the pharynx. It is found lining the pharynx, as well as it is also found in the urethra. It is also found in the urethra. So, where do this stratified columnar epithelium is found, children? It is present in the pharynx as well as the urethra. And next we are going to study about the transitional epithelium. Transitional epithelium are stretchable. They can stretch. For example, it is mainly found in the our excretory system, that is in the ureter and the urinary bladder. For example, in our excretory system, kidneys, from the kidneys the urine get drained into the ureter. From the ureter the urine gets stored in the urinary bladder. So, here the epithelium which is present in this ureter and urinary bladder is transitional epithelium. They are capable of stretching. So, when the urine is passed through the ureter, the epithelium stretches and allow the passage of urine. Likewise, when the urine gets filled, automatically the urinary bladder increases in size. That is also due to this transitional epithelium present inside the urinary bladder. So, next we are going to see about the types of cell junctions, right. So, there are three types of junctions, children. One is a tight junctions, second one is a adhering junction, junctions, and last one is a gap junction. So, now we shall see how the tight junctions will be. For example, if in a tissues, if the cells are tightly arranged, that is without any intracellular spaces, if the cells are tightly packed like this, we can say it is a tight junction. There is no gap between the cells. And what is the use of this tight junction? It will not allow the passage between the cells. And the second type is a adhering junction. In adhering junctions, the cells are like this, and the gap between the cells are filled by the cementing substances which helps in attaching the other cells together. So, this is said to be adhering junctions. Here there is the movement of some ions between the cells. And the last one is a gap junction. Gap junctions will be like this. The cells will be like this. So, there will be the intracellular spaces between the cells, and here the ions and the molecules are transmitted from one cell to the another with the help of these intracellular spaces. So, what are the three types of junctions, children? Tight junctions, adhering junctions, and gap junction. So, what are all the things we discussed, children? We discussed about the glandular epithelium. First, we discussed about the glandular epithelium, and in the glandular epithelium we discussed about the endocrine and the exocrine glands, and next we discussed about the compound epithelium, and in the compound epithelium we discussed what are all the types of compound epithelium. For example, there are two types. One we studied as stratified, and the another one is a transitional. Next we discussed what are all the junctions. What are all the junctions? That is gap junctions, tight junctions and adhering junctions. So this is the assessment given related to this topic, children. From this I will ask you one question. Transitional epithelium occurs in which part of our body? Yes, very good. It is present in our excretory system, that is ureter and the urinary bladder. With this session comes to an end, children. In the description we have attached the study material, assessment and question bank for this lesson. Go through it and make sure how far you understood the topic. Thank you, children.